As quickly before we jump into the video itself, I want to remember to give a few shoutouts that I feel like should be doing to show my gratitude to these people. Starting with SlackOut, thank you yet again, buddy, for also work with the layout which you have done for this video and for the future itself, and also changing my original team that I intentionally try to use first for this battle itself. Then second person who I want to shout out will be Frosted. Thank you to you giving me mock battles and finding time for me in your own free time, and also changing a couple of my mons again after I decided to make some changes. So thank you for that, I really appreciate it. And lastly but not least, thank you to AutoMatthic for recording my replay of this game itself, because otherwise I could not be providing this video at all in the first place. But now let's get on the actual video itself. What is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis here, your coach of the Helsinki Atregas, and I'm here for my UBL D-League Season 1 Week 1 battle versus Skyrander and his team with the Scandinavian Stoutlands. His roster you're gonna see right below me, and my own roster you're gonna see on the right side of the screen. And going through his roster, it includes Mega Scissor, Skyrander 50%, Thunderous Incarnate, which is one of his C captains, Conkeldurr, Greninja, Salazzo, Tangrowth, Mesprit, Diancie, Cryogonal, which is one of his C captains as well, and then Tauros to round out his roster. My own team, like I mentioned, is on the right side of the screen, and my C captains were Landorus-Therian and Licky. So this is the match of what I had in hand going to this game itself and what I had to prepare for. And as you can tell, he has a very powerful team itself. He has great momentum options, great setup opportunities as well to give himself multiple different winning conditions depending on the matchup itself, and a lot of great power itself too. So offensively wise, a very threatening team that I really needed to respect properly, both offensively and defensively wise. But with all that offensive options that he does have, I believe that defensively wise he left himself very vulnerable to certain kind of typings that I'm gonna be taking advantage of with my team building. Those two typings that I'm really talking about that I really want to take advantage of and spamming versus him will be Fire and Ice, because I don't believe he has the proper responses to those defensively wise, especially since he didn't draft himself a bulkier water type to go along with Greninja itself too. And considering how many quad weaknesses he has to also do these two typings, especially with Mega Scissor and Skyrander 50% being one of his higher tier picks and his core members of his team, I can really take advantage of this, and hopefully with that and having a bulky offensive approach, I can really punish him and give myself best chance to win this game. The first mod that I'm gonna be bringing into this matchup was pretty much a no-brainer, something that I really needed to bring versus a team with Mega Scissor, and that is gonna be my Rotom-Heat, aka Gordon, which is of course nicknamed after Gordon Ramsay, and he is here with a motherfucking choice specs modded set with Overheat, Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, and Hidden Power Ice. Those attacking moves basically covers an entire team, but to be honest, most likely I'm gonna be always clicking Overheat, because he doesn't have a defensive answer to this thing, as long as he doesn't bring Diancie, and if I happen to see that thing, I can always Volt Switch on it, and it doesn't want to take those kind of Volt Switches at all when I'm being modest and choice specs. I have a little bit of different EV distribution between outside of the special attack on my speed and HP. But the main idea with this is just to punish him offensively whenever I get a free switching into this thing, and I can really fry something up. I'm gonna be providing my little Deinos a full course meal out of our Swedish opponent and from his mods with clicking Overheat itself, and this is gonna be a very important mod as well defensively wise, to keep it relatively healthy, to always have a 100% answer to his Mega Evolution, like I mentioned about the Mega Scissor, why this thing is also coming for checking that thing. And the second mod of my team that I'm gonna be bringing into this game, which I knew it has to come into this matchup, is gonna be my Go for Kriegers, and this is here 100% to be able to check is Conkeldurr, cause Conkeldurr is by far the biggest threat versus my team, and besides the Mega Scissor, I'm 100% expected to come into this matchup because Mach Punch is a very efficient priority versus my current Black and Mega Lopunny. And with Drain Punch, Knock Off and Ice Punch, it basically covers my entire team and is able to hit very hard. So Kofa Kriegers from my roster is basically my best response to it defensively wise. And it's gonna be holding Colbo Berry to be able to take Knock Off a lot better on the first try after I lose it. And then I have Rest and Sleep Talk to be able to make sure this thing is as healthy as possible in all costs throughout this game, and it's gonna be something that I really need to make sure that I can keep it around as long as possible to make sure that I always have a response to his Conkeldurr. And the third member of the team will be my Alolan-Muk, aka Bob, and Bob is here running Poison Touch as its ability and Assault Vest as its item, almost max HP, max speed def, careful nature with a little bit of attack investment, with running Pursuit, Poison Jab, Ice Punch and Fire Punch. And this thing is here to just be a special response to his special attacking threats, which are very threatening versus my own team if I don't bring something like this. And this thing with the Assault Vest is so ridiculously bulky. For example, a modest Thundurus Incarnate does with Thunderbolt under 23% to this thing, which is ridiculous because that thing has 125 base attack stat on special side, and it can actually afford to run plus attack nature versus my team. So knowing that, this is one of my primary response to that thing if called upon, but also function as a very good response to other of his special attacking threats. And the fourth member of this team will be my Landorus-Therian, my first round pick, and this thing is here actually to be a defensive pivot with a mixed spread with Earthquake, Defog, Stealth Rocks and U-Turn. So this is gonna be functioning as a pivot primarily for the SlackOut 50%. Even without HPIs, I figured the other four moves that I'm running is gonna be more crucial to my team, especially Defog is gonna be very crucial to support my Rotom-Heat and my other member of my team, which is gonna really appreciate not having hazards on my side of the field. And it's also gonna be functioning as a momentum gainer and functioning as a Volt-Turn core alongside with Rotom-Heat. And if possible, hopefully it's able to get up some Stealth Rocks up, which is gonna be very useful for my offensive threats to get that chip damage. And our second last member of our team is gonna be my Mega Lopunny. And Mega Lopunny is here with a very standard set with 4 attacks, Adamant Nature, and for basically reasons I'm not gonna go through too into its detail, but it's basically running a perfect coverage versus his team, including Ice Punch and Fire Punch to deal with Mega Scissor and SlackOut 50%, and it's basically functioning as a revenge killer and providing me some key speed tiers to be able to revenge kill everything on his team which aren't able to hit me with a priority, something like Conkeldurr. And as long as they are not Choice Scarf, this hopefully provides me the fastest mon in the battle and basically provide me a late game winning condition if everything is being whittled down. And the final member of the team will be my second wall breaker alongside with the Rotom-Heat, and that is gonna be current Black. Forgotten is coming into this game, and Bunny and the Beast Core is of course having to make the debut in week 1, and this thing is gonna be modest max special attack with Ice Beam, Hidden Ball Fire, Psychic and Roost holding a Expelled Belt. And then I have a lot of IVs in different kind of areas, not necessarily everything on its speed itself. I didn't bother to try to speed tie with SlackOut 50%. I saw other stats that I really wanted to distribute the rest of the IVs, but the key part is that it's max special attack, modest, and with the Expelled Belt, this provides me a very powerful special wall breaker versus his team, which he doesn't have a good defensive response at all. And with the Hidden Ball Fire, I have a decent chance already after Stealth Rocks, OHKOing even a fully sped F Mega Scissor, and if I have any kind of prior damage to the point that it's around 75% or 77%, it's always a guaranteed kill. And with my natural bulk, I'm definitely taking a bullet punch from it as long as I'm not under 40% or so, depending on if he's adamant max attack or not. Those are the 6 mons that I decided to bring, and this is what I decided to go with, and I really believe that this team can give me the best opportunity to come out right from the gate with a win. And it's gonna be still a very hard one. I cannot go into this game expect a 100% win. There can be a lot of different things that can grow into my on my way from his behalf. He has so many good Pokemon and so many different kind of threats that he could potentially bring. And if things don't go in my way early on, he could really overwhelm me with that. And if he has some surprise factors, those could also come into play if I don't see something coming. But I really like the team. Hell hi Dragas, let's start off this season with the right foot and showcase why we are considered one of the favorites going to this season. And I really want to be able to come out with a win and really get that flow going to this season, but it's gonna be very rough battle. Good luck to Skyrander itself. He's a very cool guy, and he's actually a Swedish dude as well. So this is a Scandinavian showdown, and let's go see which one of us Scandinavian guys were able to actually win this game. Hell hi Dragons! And here we are with the battle versus Skyrander. He decided to bring Mesprit, Mega Scissor, Tauros, Zygarde 50%, Conkeldurr and Tangrowth, and barring the Tauros, I could see every single one of those other 5 monsters really to be brought into this matchup, but the Tauros was a big surprise over anything else that he could have potentially brought, like a Thundurus Incarnate or Greninja for example. But either way, going to this matchup, I knew that I'm gonna lead off with my Gordon, and we are gonna immediately serve a Swedish 5-course meal. Started with this Mesprit, which I thought that could be a potential lead to get up Stealth Rocks on my side of the field, and look at that damage. Rotom-Heat almost all-code a max HP Mesprit right from the get-go. I did not actually have any chance of all-coding. That was like a highest roll if he was max HP, but regardless, I take that damage any day of the week. And after this, I didn't care if I had a -2 after the first overheat. I'm going for another one. Our Conkeldurr actually comes in, and this actually happens to be a Assault Vest, but you're gonna see that Gordon doesn't care. Gordon doesn't care. He's gonna do over a third to that Conkeldurr. So we have a great start right from the get-go, barring the Stealth Rocks being on my side of the field, which is gonna be a little bit annoying to deal with. But hopefully I will be finding a turn to defog those away. But now when he gone into his Conkeldurr, I knew that okay, go for Gigas, you need to come in. This is your mission throughout this battle, to check this thing and make sure it doesn't get out of the hand, because it's gonna be the biggest threat for me to deal with until it's gone. And he went for the Ice Punch, predicting my Landorus-Therian, but I'm not risking it at this point of time. I always knew that this thing is my response. And with the Colbo Berry, as you can tell, I take that knockoff relatively well. Especially since he's Assault Vest and not being statused yet with a Guts boosted anyways. And being Mummy already been affected, none of that would have come into play anyways. And here I go for the rest when I was barely living, but I knew I would live the hit as long as he didn't crit me, and thankfully he didn't. And now we get back to full, and this is very important. This is why I'm running rest talk on this Go for Kriegers, because I really need this thing to be alive whenever that thing is still around. And here I'm gonna be just burning one of my turns with a Sleep Talk, kind of trying to see what he would go into. And if he tries to go into like Tangrowth for example, I'm able to maybe engage if it's a Assault Vest or not, if I get an attacking move off. But I get a rest, so I didn't get anything out of that turn. But at least I burn a turn and it's still alive. That's really the most important with Go for Gigas, to keep it healthy. And now that he brought Tangrowth in, I was like, okay, since the Stealth Rocks are up, I don't really like to switching any of my other mons on my team. So since he didn't bring any of his special attackers that I was really worried about, and Alolan-Muk to be able to respond to them, I used Bob as a response to this thing. as he went for the lead seat, so he's not a Southwest clearly because he was able to use that move. And here I actually go for the Fire Punch, because I look at his team, I was like, okay, what do I don't want to let to come in for free when the Stealth Rock's on my side of the field? And I decide that it's going to be Benga Scissor, that I did not want to give a free switch if he came in, and he still hit the Tangrowth super effectively, what it's worth. But he brought his Conkeldurr in, which I was kind of like, I could have gone for the Poison Jab and potentially almost killed you from there, so that was kind of surprise play from his behalf. But when he got the Guts boost, as you can tell, I'm gonna actually stay in, because I was basically sacking this thing, because I didn't want to swap my Goforgigas in, and I want to give it a free switch on this Guts boosted Conkeldurr. But what do you know? Bob is gonna come through and get the first kill of this season. And what a first kill to be, to take out a Conkeldurr, which was by far the biggest threat to me. And I was basically just doing that as a sack, and I was able to get him off guard with that play when he was expecting my Goforgigas to come in on that turn, for a good reason, because I showed that to be my defensive response, and it really played it into my favor heavily from there. And here, once he brought his Zygarde 50% in, I'm gonna go into my Landorus-Therian. This is my defensive response to this thing, and I really want to get rid of these Stealth Rocks, so that's gonna be my primary priority to me, to be able to defog these away. As with that damage, he reveals to be actually Choice Banded Zygarde 50%, which is important to note, because that means that it's not gonna be set up. And now I know for sure what it's gonna be with its item itself, but it did a lot of damage to my Landorus-Therian. Since I'm not fully physical defensive, I wanted to have a little bit of special defense with it, just in case for random hidden power ices to come into its way. And here I was able to just go for the defog, as he brought his Mega Scissor in, expecting probably the hidden power ice, which is very common to see on Landorus-Therian or ladder, to check on a defensive set versus opposing Zygarde 50% when they were still OU. So very understandable play from his behalf. I definitely agree him doing that. And here I go for the U-turn. I actually swap into my Rotom-Heat, risking a potential knockoff. But I was okay letting Rotom-Heat to get knocked off at this point of time, because I really wanted to make sure I checked this thing immediately right from the get-go, and off the chance he went for the U-turn, I would have taken nothing out of it. And I feel like even if I lose my choice specs, I still have Green Black for wall breaking potential for the late game. And now, when actually Rotom-Heat is not being choice locked, I knew that okay, I'm gonna go for the hidden power ice, because there's no way you're staying with his Mega Scissor. And I actually get the prediction right, and he did try to bring his Zygarde 50% now when I wasn't choice specs anymore, to take the overhit a lot better. But I wasn't willing to give him that free switch. And here, I'm gonna be sacking up my Alolan-Muk here instead of going to my Landorus-Therian, because I really need to preserve my Mon's health that I really need throughout this battle. And Alolan-Muk being the most expendable, I figured that okay, I'm gonna sack you off, see what it's lock itself into, and then I make a proper play. And instead of going to Landorus-Therian, I actually wanted to go into my Green Black, provide more offensive pressure to him. And I was hoping that I would be catching his Mega Scissor on the switch and go for the hidden power fire. But he actually stays in at first and tried to see if I go for that move, and went for the E-Speed, which was a good play from his behalf. He was able to get me right on that turn, but I go for the Roost just to shake off that banded extreme speed damage, which literally did nothing to my Green Black still. So I was okay with trying to make that prediction, because I knew there's no throwback into it even if he stayed in. And now when he brought his Tauros in, tried to take that hidden power fire, well, I'm gonna scout what kind of Tauros this is, because I wasn't too sure what it would be. Based on his team, he could be Choice Scarf to give him some speed control, because his team is relatively slow, naturally outside of that. And with now seeing that he doesn't take a Life Orb recall after it's gonna get a Mummy ability, and it didn't reveal to be Choice Banded or boosting item by any means, I felt like this is gonna be his Choice Scarfer throughout this game. So next time around, if the Tauros is taking a little bit of chip, I can blow it back with Green Black and with its Ice Beam if I feel like it at the time. So that gave me a little bit of information. Then I made a very safe middle ground play, which I knew there should not be too much a drawback with my Rotom-Heat, because it would resist the Iron Head. And I had a pretty good idea that he might do the swap into his Tangrowth like he did on first time when I used my Pro for Gigas versus the Conkeldurr, if you happen to remember early on. So that kind of gave me a very good middle ground play. And with the overheat, I basically forced him to sack the Mesprit, which is pretty nice, because now Rotom-Heat got his kill and was able to finish off the mod that it really significantly weakened from turn 1. So from here on out, I went for the Volt Switch, and as the Tangrowth came in, I'm gonna be going into my Green Black, and now when the Stealth Rocks are not up, I don't mind swapping into this thing, because I can immediately provide some offensive pressure, as he actually misses a Leech Seed, which is very unfortunate, because that means that any mod that he will try to switching on, he doesn't get the health back through the Leech Seed. And then I go for the hidden power again, and now the Tauros actually does coming, and with that prior damage I knew that I'm gonna stay in and kill it with the Ice Beam, and that Iron Head did under half, and Kreblak just stroke it off and just blows it back with an Ice Beam. So that bull is gone out of the Oblivion and out of this game, so the potential Choice Scarfer is now dealt with, and Lopunny is looking really nice for the late game, because it should be the fastest mod in the field, considering also the Conkeldurr is dealt with as well. And here when he brought his Mega Scizor, I was like, okay, after I took that Iron Head, I'm not gonna stay in and take a potential Bullet Punch. So I'm gonna swap into my Landorus-Therian, because it's basically done its job. It took care of the Stealth Rocks. His Stealth Rock is already dealt with, and here I can potentially get my own Stealth Rocks up and just stay in and let it go down and let my Rotom-Heat come in for free, because right now I cannot risk my Rotom-Heat by any cost and let it take any prior damage. I need it to be above, I should have it around 50% to make sure that it checks a +6 Mega Scizor no matter what. It happens to be a setup, and as you can tell, he is actually a curse set. And here I actually made a small misplay and going for Stealth Rocks first, but then I realized on the following turn I should actually defog first, get the evasionness dropped so I don't risk a potential miss my overheat on the overheat on my Rotom-Heat itself versus this Mega Scizor, because if I happen to miss it, I can lose this game straight up if he starts to set up all the way to +6, because then everything else dies to a Bullet Punch from there. So at this point I'm just defogging once just to get the evasionness dropped, and then I get my Stealth Rocks just to wait him to finish me off eventually, and now he actually does, and doesn't even try to set up any further, which is really nice for me, because with the little bit of chip with I get with Earthquake, I definitely make sure that once I force it out, it should be in a range of hidden power fire from my Korean Black itself on this Mega Scizor. So any kind of chip is really appreciated with the Stealth Rocks being up as well for the late game potentially. And now when he finished me off, I know I can bring this thing safely. And even if he has this sack in Skyrander 50 in the back, which is very likely to come in on this turn, I don't mind it. I'll take my kill, and Gordon is gonna pick its second kill. Both of the mons that it's able to kill, he actually was able to weak them down itself from full, which is pretty nice that Gordon gets to do this, and be one of them being actually Skyrander 50%, which was actually only defensive response he had to this thing. Rotom-Heat still pick it off, so this one is putting a lot of work throughout this game, and really happy how it's been performing so far. And after that kill, the same turn events happens after I get the kill with overheat, that he's gonna go into his Tangrowth knowing that I'm at -2 and I don't have the choice specs anymore, so he can easily take me on and go for a Leech Seed. Now I swap into my Korean Black yet again like last time, and now being relatively low at health, I'm still at over 50%, so I know I can take any one hit from this thing if he tries to attack me. But of the chance he goes for the Leech Seed, I knew on the following turn I want to go for the Roost, because if I go for the Roost, I should be able to secure this game no matter what kind of play he would do. Either swapping into Mega Scizor or try to sack this thing in and leave this Tangrowth in and let it go down eventually, and then get the free switching to Mega Scizor. Because my point of view, I feel like his best chance right now would have been that he lets the Mega Scizor be the last one in the field and try to make sure that my Korean Black would have been low enough for a Bullet Punch, and then try to hope that the overheat, for example, misses or something like that. He had a very slim chance to win this game, but it was kind of still there. if something like that would have happened. But with the Roost, I knew I can take any kind of bullet punch. And with the prior damage earlier, even after lead seed recovery, I knew the hidden power fire from my modest expert belt Current Black is gonna take that the Mega Scissor out, because the prior damage that he was able to do with the Rotom-Heat with knockoff, it actually revealed to be a little bit of attack investment. So I knew throughout the late game he wasn't max PDEF, and most likely I always killed that thing from point of health it was at. So we were able to finish this game off with Current Black picking the last 2 kills and end up with actually 3 kills throughout this game. So very happy how the team performed. Mega Lopunny actually never ended up hitting the field, but Lopunny did still play its role to win and cheer on the rest of the team to perform as well as they did. And really the Rotom-Heat set really potentially was the MVP throughout this game. Current Black also being very crucial member, getting those 3 kills. And Bob, what about Bob, man? He actually took out the Conkeldurr, and with that we really were able to put ourselves in a very favorable position. And that was probably the turning point of the battle, when he tried to predict my call for Kriegers coming in and went for the knockoff in front of the Alolan-Muk, which I was willing to sack. And me getting that kill like that without losing any more to Conkeldurr, I could not believe I was able to deal with Conkeldurr going into this game without letting it get a kill. I was for certain that it's gonna get 1 kill or 2 kills or even 3 kills before I was able to finish it off. It was that big of a threat. So getting that thing out of the picture for the rest of the game really helped me for getting this 4-0 win, which is amazing for week 1 that we are able to establish ourselves with a win and get the season going on the right foot. And good game to Skyrander. I think he played relatively well. Barring the Conkeldurr was really something that he really emphasized himself after the game when we talked, that he really kicked himself about making that prediction, and he realized immediately after it that how bad of a spot he left himself into. And I definitely agree with that, even though I understand his prediction. But considering how expendable my Alolan-Muk was throughout this battle, considering what he brought, it was definitely over prediction and really cost him. But I'm sure he's gonna bounce back. I know he is very experienced with Draft League format. He has done this for a while on his channel, and his YouTube channel will be down below in the description, so make sure to check him out. And also from his point of view, because he actually uploads this game as a live commentary, so it's very cool to see that kind of commentary as well, besides my own, which is a post commentary. I gotta see how the battler actually reacts and kind of talks about his thought process on live commentary. I cannot provide that because I don't have capture card, but hopefully you still enjoyed it. I do try to make sure that my post commentaries are still enjoyable to listen to. I give a good thought process and try to give my little bit of my own humor to it with my reactions and such. But either way, until next video, when I'm gonna be actually going through a 1 transaction that I actually decide to make before going to week 2, make sure that you are subscribed so you won't be missing out that. I will upload it before this Saturday will go up. I probably try to upload it like Friday or so it's in a fresh memory what I was able to make as a change and why I did it, and then we get to see the week 2 battle. But until then, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for the support you have shown to me throughout the UBL so far already. The draft analysis has like 95 views as of right now, which is phenomenal, and I'm so grateful to see that all of you have been able to show me this kind of support. I believe I have the most views on my draft analysis from all courses, which is mind-blowing because I'm one of the smallest channel out here. So I'm very humbled by that and very grateful that you showed the interest, and hopefully we can keep this up and I'm able to provide you entertaining games, win or lose. But thankfully for us, we are in the winning side of the things. And until week 2 and until my transaction video, thank you all again for watching, and until next time, I'll be see you guys later.